everybody. I love being with you tonight. Thanks for having me here. I'm Lopa Mehrotra. I'm a social entrepreneur. I founded a company in 2007 called Test Tube, which is like a YouTube but for science education. Our website, what's that? Oh, hi. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Our website is like a YouTube but for science education. And at its height, our site had reached teachers and classrooms in almost 70 countries with the message that science education doesn't have to be serious and difficult, that it can actually be a very joyful and very self-expressed experience for kids and teachers. In our community, in the test tube community, every person is naturally a scientist, and the entire world is your lab. Guess where I got the idea? You won't believe it, for all of you budding entrepreneurs out there. The idea was just waiting for me in my backyard. I'm telling you, there are great things that are happening in our backyards all the time if we just pause and open our eyes. My daughter was 6 at the time. She was playing with a couple of rocks, scratching them into the ground. Couldn't believe that they turned white when she scratched them, and she called it magic. And as her mom, looking for teachable moments, I said, no, that's actually science. And she said, yeah, that's my science experiment. And I thought, of course it is. It took me 6 years to figure it out. Everything a kid does in their backyard is a gigantic science experiment. And so I started to wonder, what would be possible if we just put cameras on kids and connected all of these backyard moments around the world every single day? And what if we could let them know that the stuff that they're doing out there in their little backyards is really valuable and even scientific? So I got a team together and we built a website. We ran a contest in the United States, collected video from kids in classrooms, and the videos were great. I mean, really simple stuff. What we discovered is that we actually inspired a community to play in a subject area, science, that's definitely not known for play. And all of that came out of a moment with my daughter in the backyard. So you won't be surprised to hear that I have a new obsession these days, and it's with backyards. Not in that landscaping way, but in a what's possible kind of way. I think that backyards really express a huge possibility, a huge human shared experience. And I just keep looking for what other kinds of challenges can be solved if we would just pay attention to our backyard. Take where we are tonight. You know, here we are at Bernheim Forest. Let's just call it our shared backyard. And look what we're all doing. You know, we're looking up at the sky, we're watching the sunset, nature around us, we might catch a firefly or two. It's very, very vaguely like my backyard in Louisville, you know, sloping hills and the fireflies that my daughters like to catch at night, and a creek that they like to poke around in during the day. And my backyard today is so, so, so different from my favorite backyard of all time, and I hope you take a minute to think about your favorite backyard of all time. My favorite backyard of all time was in Brockton, Massachusetts, where I was a kid, and it wasn't my backyard, it was my neighbor's yard, and, yard, and it was at 220 Moraine Street, and the Siciliano's yard was just the hub of it all. And that's where we had our bike ramp, and there was a gigantic patch of dirt. We played baseball and skidded out the grass until nothing could possibly grow there anymore. And that backyard is so, so different from my daughter's first backyard in San Francisco, where we were living in Noe Valley. Every garden in that neighborhood was a square, you know, rectangle, about the same size as everything. From my bedroom window, if I looked to the right, I could see 5 gardens the same size. If I looked to the left, I could see another 6. But every yard was like its own little planet. It was like its own little self-expression. That's what backyards are. I mean, no matter how different a backyard looks, there's still something so important that backyards really have in common. For kids, it's our first classroom. It's our first glimpse into the big world around us. And for adults, it's that place where we get to go and reconnect to those childhood moments, those ways of being that brought us joy and wonder. And whether or not we actually are actively thinking about it and realizing it, a backyard, our backyard, your own backyard, connects you to the whole wide world out there. For all of us, you know, young or old, any country, any language, every backyard is our opportunity to play. Now, I don't know about you, this is a pretty great crowd, but I have a lot of friends, and sometimes secretly me, I have a really hard time letting myself play. We tend to take play and relegate it to a little corner of our world. It's something that we're willing to dismiss, we're willing to discard it. It's that first thing or the second thing that kind of falls off the proverbial list. But what if we could all really take the case that play is really, really valuable at any age. Through play, we learn to imagine, we learn to inspire, we learn to implement, we learn to collaborate, we learn to mediate, we learn to fail, we learn to persist. Ultimately, what we're learning playing in our own little backyards is to innovate. Our world really, really needs innovation. We need that inspiration and that imagination. It doesn't just feel good. I mean, it's the key to solving the really fun problems like what's going to be my next big business or what's the next big social movement that we need out there. But it's also the key to solving the big, big problems like war or poverty or discrimination. And just to think that we all have access to innovation from our own humble little backyards through something as absolutely simple as play. If you think about it, at any given moment, somewhere in the world, thousands and thousands and thousands of people are at play. Our perspective of the world can come from any point of view. It can come through the lens of war, or through the lens of poverty, through the lens of gender, and all these perspectives are important. All these perspectives are valid. But can we also kind of step back every now and then and view the world through the lens of play? I have a vision for my work and my life. It really helps me guide my choices. And it's this: by 2037, all children will experience the world as a playground for self-expression, wonder, and fun. It's a big, big promise. It's a big idea, but the start is really simple. It starts in a backyard. It starts in my backyard, and it starts in yours. So I was thinking about how to end tonight, and I thought maybe I'll just make a request and start a little game with you all. What if this summer each of us took on playing in our own backyards and take a video and share it on YouTube and see if how you play can inspire somebody else to play. Together, maybe we can turn the world on a new axis. Together, we can create one world at play. Thanks.